I wanted to talk about the elitists that play Magic the Gathering and why they are part of the problem in the Magic community. You have this spectrum of Magic players, and it usually ranges from complete scrub, noobs, and then you go to this range that a lot of people are also guilty of being, and that is the elitist asshole, which makes up, a bigger part of Magic than you might want it to make up. And to be fair, the other part, the scrubs, they also make up a decent part of it too. But I've played against, for the most part, players that are pretty, they're pretty laid back. They don't really take things too seriously, but yet they know the game and they understand it enough to keep the integrity of the game together. Elitists are a big problem for me. They kind of aggravate me, and it's usually because a lot of the things they nitpick about, it's all about like card sleeves, what you're doing with your D20s, every single thing. Oh, your binder's not this or that, Oh, why aren't you using dragon shields for your cards? Why are you still using Ultra Pros? And it's every little thing they have to nitpick about, and you usually see this with the elitists. Now, don't be confused. That doesn't mean that when I say elitist, it doesn't mean that, oh, they're rich, they have everything here. I'm talking about the elitist attitude. And we all know players that are exactly like that. They are, just because they might have money, doesn't mean that they know how to play the game, or they're better than you if you don't have as much money. Because I know a lot of people who don't have money, they can play like an average deck and completely beat the shit out of someone who spent thousands to make theirs. And it's all because they understand how to play the game, and they basically get their head out of their asses, and they're kind of humble about it too. And a lot of people like playing with them, so naturally, when people like playing with you, you get to play with more people, and you build up more experience, more worthwhile experience, more so than these elitist assholes who they're running out of people to play with because nobody likes them. Now, this is completely different from experienced players, like the oldest ones that have like all these reserve list cards that are super expensive. This is completely different from them, because a lot of them, they're just experienced. They know how to play the game. Trust their advice. The elitists typically, not always, but they usually don't know what the hell they're talking about, or they'll try to use their own logic because they're usually smug. They think they're never wrong, and they'll try to convince you that whatever you're doing is just completely just not the way you're supposed to do things. Like, oh, you're using a spin down to roll to see who goes first instead of a D20, which is another thing I want to talk about. Why the hell does it matter? Only these guys bring it up. It doesn't fucking matter. Rolling a D20 and a spin down, you have the same probability. I understand that, the D20s are completely different from spin downs. Spin downs have like a different sequential order. That's why they're called spin downs. But still, if you roll it the same exact way, like let's say if you were to roll it from 6 inches above whatever table or surface you're using it to roll on, you have the same probability of rolling each individual number, as so long as what you're rolling is in fact a 20-sided die. Same thing with the spin down. A spin down is still technically a 20-sided die. It represents equally each number from 1 to 20. And if you roll it, it's not any less random just because you rolled a spin down compared to a fucking D20. I hate the argument that, the elitist players always try to give when they say, oh, D20s are, they're more even, overall, so they're going to be more random, which is complete stupid, because it's so fucking stupid, because it's the same probability, it's the same randomness. You're not one is going to be more random than the other. It makes no absolute sense, But anyway, again, there's like the topic of actual in-game play too, because they're typically the people that are going to criticize every single move you make and say, oh, you misplayed, you could have done this or that. And then I usually respond with, no, I did this on purpose, or I know what the hell I'm doing. Shut up. Just because you've been playing the game maybe a little bit longer than me doesn't mean you know everything. I probably know things about the game you don't know about. Stop trying to give me advice. I know how to play the game, and I'm actually pretty good at it. So again, like, they'll offer you advice on the game. They're going to offer you advice on, what binders and deck sleeves you need to get, even though it really doesn't matter. If you have something that works and keeps your cards in good condition, it really does not freaking matter what the hell you use. I have like a monster binder, but I have a really nice Ultra Pro one, or, I have a really nice one of these, the 4x4 binders. Like, you need to get on my level, because you don't have this specific product. Like, who the hell cares? I know how to play the game. I have good cards. That's all that matters. Stop trying to tell me I'm wrong. But the D20 thing and the spin down thing, that is the main thing that always gets brought up. Every single play group that I'm a part of, like every single time I go to F&M, I always hear about this shit. It's usually by someone who thinks you're gonna teach me a lesson on fucking dice and shit. It doesn't matter to begin with. And if you think about it, it's stupid why the hell you're rolling them in the first place. You could roll any die. Rolling a D20 or a spin down doesn't matter. It doesn't absolutely matter. You're just doing it to determine who goes first. That's all. That is the only reason why you need to roll a D20 at all. And that's if you don't have any other die. It's to determine who goes first. It's the dumbest thing ever. But people, they will complain all day long about it. For some reason, they're going to try to teach me a lesson. They're going to try to humble me, make me look like a fucking idiot. It doesn't matter. D20s and spin downs are pretty much the same thing when you roll them on the same surface. It doesn't matter. You're going to get a 5% probability on each individual number because each individual number is equally represented on the die. But yeah, again, these are also the type of players that will discourage new players from coming to F&Ms, just any casual events, play groups, etc., etc. Now, I have my own opinions of new players, and there's different types of new players that are just toxic for the game too. But overall, I do believe in giving people a chance, and you do have the elitist people who will not give others a chance. They will not give others the chance to come into their playgroups, come to their F&Ms, and it's all because they think they're better than them. They're narcissists, and fuck them, basically. They're kind of what's ruining the community when you think about it. Everywhere you go, they're all over the internet, forums, all that shit. Even on YouTube, you see them everywhere. My local game store, I usually run into a bunch of elitists, and the one thing that they tend to do also, they oversell their shit. Meaning, if they have a good deck that combos out, or if they have a good control deck, they will brag about it all day long. Even if they lose, even if you make them look like assholes when they lose, they'll try to reason and say, I would have won if I drew 6 cards in. The same people that will put so much effort into bragging about their decks, they will pout when they lose, because they always do, and they'll look at the top 6 cards of their deck and they'll say, hey, if I got 6 cards in, I would have won. See, I told you so. No, you wouldn't have, because that would require you waiting 6 turns, asshole. God damn, it's the same shit. Every single time I play these same people at my locals, whether it's in my play group, we all know who they are too. They're the people that they just hate. They hate losing, so they're gonna make your life a living hell, and they're gonna pretty much downplay whenever you win. They're not gonna congratulate you. If I lose, I lose. I admit it. I congratulate whoever wins, and I say, okay. Or if I don't congratulate them, guess what? I don't say anything negative. Or I don't try to, pretty much demean them in any way to make them feel like, oh, they cheated, or I just got land screwed. Oh wow, wait, way to make me feel like my win was insignificant. That's all they do. They do whatever they can, put whatever effort they can do into making you feel like you're not on their level, even though their level isn't even on your level. They're beneath you, but they're going to make you feel like you're insignificant. Like, oh, my deck's so much better than yours, and look at me. Ha ha ha. Well, maybe if you didn't fucking brag about it all before F&M, you wouldn't have gotten humbled, you asshole. Same shit. Same thing with playgroups, too. There's assholes in playgroups. Even though it's a more casual setting, you would think, even amongst your own playgroups, you wouldn't have these assholes. I know plenty of assholes. And they all act the same way. If they're losing, they all act disinterested. And they all make a big deal about, oh, you did this to, you shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have targeted me, or you shouldn't have responded to my spells, or what the fuck am I supposed to do? Just let you win? Let you win because you have, just a shitty self-esteem, and the only way to make yourself feel better is to put down other players, or to not congratulate them when they deserve recognition for actually playing a good game? I mean, there's these Magic players everywhere, and they all suck. All of them suck, too. If you're a good player, you don't have that big of an ego. Like, if you're truly a good player, your ego does not need to be massaged. I'm sorry. I consider myself a really good player. And I know a lot of my friends are really good players. And a lot of them don't act like petty assholes, like petty narcissists, that when they don't get their way, they complain about it, or they just pout, or you never play them again because they don't want to play with you because last time they played with you, they got humbled. But it's always fun whenever I get to run into some of these people. They spend the whole game bragging about their deck. Like, oh, my deck is so oppressive. People don't like playing against me. I easily beat the shit out of you, and you can't even look me in the eye anymore because that's how embarrassed you are. Like, just get wrecked. Honestly. It's the same thing every single time I go to F&M. At least with new players, for the most part, they know their place. They stay in their lane. But anyway, that's just what's been on my mind. I felt like getting it off my chest because someone should. They're all over the place, and they want to keep spreading their cancer to everyone else. So anyway, if you like my videos, please subscribe. I would really like to continue making more just like these. Thank you.